This week, Trump is asking the Republicans to vote to release the Epstein files. Here's my thing. If they release them, and there are people of status in those files, which there's going to be, what happens to them? Their names in a file. Are they going to be held accountable? Is the public going to turn against them? Obviously there's a lot of really scared people out there right now, but I just am wondering what the repercussions are going to be. Like, what if someone did go there and they didn't do anything, or they went there and they were like, what the is this place? This isn't cool, and they bounced. Just because the names are in the files doesn't mean they did anything wrong, right? We got to give them the benefit of the doubt. So I'm just wondering what happens next. When we see these files, when we see the names in it, what happens next?
It's Tuesday, November 18th, and House lawmakers could potentially vote to release the Epstein files. Hi, my name is Lauren Beachy. I'm a TV news reporter and anchor here in Eastern North Carolina. So Trump came out this week saying that he wants the files to be released and that Republicans have nothing to hide. This is a big contrast to what he's been saying about the Epstein files. Originally, he did not want them out there. And there's a potential that releasing these files could impact any ongoing investigation connecting Epstein's work. If there are active leads or unresolved cases, they'll want to be careful about what gets released. And that's why when this does get released, if it does, you may see delays or heavy redactions in certain areas of these reports. And ahead of the vote, people are also expecting to hear from some of the victims as a push for the information to be released.
We just got great news that the vote on the Epstein Files Transparency Act will happen tomorrow, Tuesday. So I want to go over what this exactly means for the chances that the Epstein files could actually be released. If the bill passes the House, which it is expected to do now, it would mean that it would go to the Senate. It will be read twice in the Senate and then referred to a committee, likely the Senate Judicial Committee. At this point, there's 3 different possible paths. The first path is the most likely one, and that would be for the committee to hold hearings, have debates, and then eventually vote to move it out of the committee. Then the Senate Majority Leader John Thune would actually have to schedule an official vote. Option 2 is unlikely, which would mean they would ignore it, and option 3 would be a discharge petition similar to what happened in the House. If it is not ignored, then it will go to vote, and if they get 51 votes, it will go to the president's desk. Trump could then either sign it or veto it. They could, however, override the president's veto if they get 290 votes in the House and 67 votes in the Senate. So we're a long way off, but there is some hope.
6 years after he died by suicide, the mystery of what's in the case files of convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein could soon be revealed as a rare bipartisan wave is forming to force their release. In a stark reversal, President Trump says he will sign a bill to release the Department of Justice's Epstein files if the bill lands on his desk.
Let the Senate look at it, let anybody look at it, but don't talk about it too much.
Trump, who has frequently dismissed the Epstein controversy as a Democratic hoax, was lobbying Republicans to block the vote, but changed his tune Sunday night and urged House Republicans in a post to support the measure because they have, quote, nothing to hide, and it's time to move on. It comes days after documents, including emails and texts released by the House Oversight Committee, revealed the convicted sex offender wrote frequently about Trump, alleging in 2019 Trump knew about the girls, which the president has denied. Last week, Trump asked the Department of Justice to investigate any ties between Epstein and powerful Democrats, including former President Bill Clinton, who's denied any wrongdoing. The U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi promptly agreed to open an investigation.
It's really a Democrat problem. The Democrats were Epstein's friends, all of them.
One of those Democrats is Harvard professor and former Treasury Secretary under Bill Clinton, Larry Summers. On Monday night, Summers said he is stepping back from public commitments after messages between him and Epstein were released where he asked the sex offender for advice about pursuing a young woman he described as his mentee. And Epstein described himself as Summers' wingman. Summers says he is deeply ashamed of his actions and recognizes the pain they've caused. Sponsors of the U.S. House bill, though, have raised concerns.
They may be trying to use those investigations as a predicate for not releasing the files, and that's my concern.
Meanwhile, survivors of Epstein's crimes are still seeking justice and urging Congress to vote to require the release of the files, like Danielle Bensky.
There are 1,000 of us, and we always say this is not political. It is a human issue. It is a moral issue.
And some Epstein survivors will be on Capitol Hill today for that vote. If the bill passes the House, it still needs to get through the Senate, though Senate Leader John Thune has been non-committal about bringing it up for a vote. And though the president said he would sign it into law, critics have been saying the president doesn't need congressional approval to request his Department of Justice release those files right now.
I absolutely think it is important that we have a vote with those Republican names voting yes to release the files, because there hasn't been a lot of commentary from the Senate. The president has not spoken about what he expects from Republicans in the Senate. This has been a very House-specific effort on his part to block these files. So we need to keep the pressure up, and a great way to do that is to have a huge vote coming out of the House, a bipartisan vote saying it is long past time to get this truth to the American people and to seek justice for the victims.
Your senator blocks the release of those Epstein files, you need to be asking who they're protecting. Tuesday is going to be real interesting in Congress. Now, the House is getting ready to vote on the release of the Epstein files. Folks, people are walking around Washington sweating bullets and leaking like a Capri Sun. So 9 times out of 10, it's going to pass the House. That's not really where the issue is. The issue is that dusty-ass hallway called the Senate. And then even if it does pass the Senate, if it's not veto-proof, I expect the president to veto the bill. He's absolutely going to try to veto it or come up with some other excuse about it, because at the end of the day, Trump doesn't want us to know what's in those files. So you want to protect the children of America? You want to expose predators? You want to see how deep this rabbit hole goes no matter who's in it? Then you need to call your senators and you need to call your congressmen. Call these people like you're calling the bank after a fraudulent charge. Call these people like they owe you money. And tell them straight up, if you vote against releasing these files, you ain't even got to worry about being reelected, because I'm going to ensure that you do not get that seat back in office. See, this is a moment right here where we make folks put up or shut up.
So I've got to address this really quick. Everybody all over social media is talking about how Trump came out and now he fully endorses the release of the Epstein files. And he wants everybody to vote for it. Now, here's the thing. Why does anybody care what the hell this orange buffoon says? This man lies about everything. He lies about economic numbers. He lies about deals he's made with countries. He lies about wars that he's ended. Everything that this man says is a goddamn lie. But yet everybody's taking to social media and acting like what Trump is saying now is the gospel truth? Come on. He's just spouting what everybody wants to hear to make himself look good in the moment. But you better best believe that behind the scenes, he's got something cooking, because there's no way in hell he wants those files released. None whatsoever. But everybody's taking what he says and going, oh, look, now Trump wants them released. Trump's behind it. Why are you believing this man? He lies about everything. He tries to tell the American public that gas is under $2 a gallon in some states, that grocery prices are the lowest they've ever been. There's zero inflation. We have record job growth. The lies just continue, one after the other. Like I said before, and I'm going to keep saying it, I will not believe a damn thing that comes out of this administration's mouth until it's been fact-checked 1,000 times to be proven to be true. Otherwise than that, my go-to is that they're lying and they're covering up shit. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. This is Grim, and I'll see you all in the next video.
A couple of things that Trump has boldly lied to all of us about. One, he said, no, the consumer doesn't pay the tariffs. The distributor does, the other country does. But then the other day, he pulled a taco move, right? Trump always chickens out. And he removed a bunch of fruits and vegetables and things from the tariff list. And he did this, as he even said, to make things more affordable. But before, he said it didn't have any effect on our economy because we weren't the ones paying for it. Well, then why did you just lower them the other day? You chickened out on your tariffs, and you just lowered a bunch of them the other day to make things more affordable. And the other big lie is he's gone on and on to say that the Epstein files were a Democratic hoax and they were nothing. There was nothing there. Pam Bondi said that they found nothing. And now he told Pam Bondi to investigate to see what Democrats are on there. And then he told the Republicans to vote to release the Epstein files that he claimed were a hoax. He's not a very good liar. And really, do we need a president who lies constantly? If you're going to be a liar, you got to be a really good liar, because there's a lot of receipts left behind, videos and such, and you got to go cover your tracks. But he never does that. He just goes like this late at night, and he trips himself up and contradicts himself. And this, I believe, will be his undoing, and I think it's coming real soon.
So apparently Trump now wants House Republicans to vote to release the Epstein files, telling them, quote, "We have nothing to hide." And the reaction online has been absolutely unhinged. Main vibe, oh, well, he must have finished scrubbing his name out then. Because let's be so serious, this is the same man who has been very against releasing these documents for years. And every single time new Epstein-related records drop, court filings, depositions, flight logs, Trump's name has been somewhere in the mess. And it's not exactly giving presidential blow-up, it's more giving, Bubba, not exactly the sentence you want associated with your legacy. So when he switches from absolutely not, witch hunt, fake news, to yes, release them, we have absolutely nothing to hide. You're telling me the internet wasn't going to raise an eyebrow? Please, we had both eyebrows in the ceiling. And look, we don't know what's in the unreleased files. We don't know which names are in there or which names have been removed or redacted to protect privacy. I'm not saying he scrubbed anything. I'm just saying when the timeline starts making jokes about a dope acrobat being the real hero of the story, I see the vision. So either this is about to be the biggest political transparency moment of the decade, or we're getting 600 pages of Sharpie blocks and one sentence that says Jeffrey Epstein was known to associate with redacted. But hey, apparently Trump has nothing to hide, so let's open the files then.
Democrats are reeling as Donald Trump plays 4D chess with the Epstein files. Dude, at least they're voting on it next week. There's nothing else to do. He just launched a new investigation into Epstein and all of the Democrats associated with the files, which mixed all of their legal expertise none of the Democrats saw coming, and now they're cooked. Well, when they vote to release everything next week, we're going to know everybody's involved anyways. No, but that's the beauty of it. No attorney anywhere will release the files if it's a part of a current investigation, which could go on till the end of time. But the most hilarious thing about this new investigation is everyone named in the investigation, all of the Democrats, are going to be re-interviewed, re-investigated, their accounts gone through, their finances gone through to look for any ties to Epstein whatsoever, and all of that information will be posted in real time. How is that legal? Because the American people have been begging for this. It's almost like Trump was letting the hype build and letting Democrats beg for these files so that when he launched this investigation, they couldn't back out of it. Any Democrat not willing to play ball and shying away from absolute participation and full cooperation will be admitting their guilt and corroboration with Epstein.